Good morning, good morning. We are officially beginning our Westside Transformation Summit. I'm John Ahmann. I'm the president and CEO of the Westside Future Fund. I'm excited about our program this morning, especially because it is Women's History Month.
Woo, 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 woo. Yes.
And among the many inspiring things on the historic West Side are the women that have come out and of the West Side and made such a difference in our country. So we're going to hear about one of those today with the YWCA. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But as a reminder, we are currently live. So the cameras you see, we are streaming on Facebook and YouTube. And when this is over, this broadcast is immediately available to you as well. And I'm very happy to be with my co-host, Women's History Month, Ebony.
Hey, good morning, everybody. So happy to see y'all. Thank y'all for coming out. It was kind of cold this morning, wasn't it? My name is Ebony Ford. I am a very proud English Avenue resident right here on the West Side, yes. A very proud parent of my son, Jeremiah, who goes to Hollis, again, on the West Side. I'm all about the West Side, best side, everything else, just the West Side, all right? Good to see y'all. Bars. Sorry. Go ahead, John. Back to you. Actually, I guess it's still my turn. Sorry about that. Again, as John mentioned, it is Women's History Month here at the Summit today. It is a time to celebrate the incredible contributions of women throughout history and in our own communities. Here on the historic West Side, women have played a very vital role in shaping our neighborhoods, leading change and uplifting others. As we reflect on the past, we also focus on the future, empowering young women and ensuring they have opportunities to lead and thrive. Let's continue to support, uplift, and celebrate the women in our lives, whether they are mentors, leaders, mothers, daughters, and friends who inspire us every single day.
Yeah, thank you. Mm-hmm. And I always like to begin our program with acknowledging anyone who's here for the first time. You're not here for the first time, but if you are here for the first time, raise your hand.
Oh. Excellent.
All right, lots of first time. Thanks for being here. So for the ones the first time, a quick overview of our program. In just a moment, we're going to go to our devotion. I'll talk about that when we get there. And then We do self-introductions to build networking and community, and then we'll have our great program with leaders from the YWCA.
Yes.
And then we will have a final drawing at the end.
Yep.
And we always end by 9 o'clock.
Sounds good. Sounds like a really exciting and very important conversation. I'm personally looking forward to it. As I said, my whole life is centered right here on the West Side. So talking about the YWCA and their future plans for my neighborhood, again, very exciting. So the revitalization of the Phillis Wheatley Westside YWCA is a powerful example of community investment and honoring the legacy of a space that has long served the West Side. I'm looking forward to hearing more about the YWCA's efforts and how we can support their work.
And also, as a quick reminder, we are really honored to host this summit on behalf of the collective work going on in the community. We also do a monthly e-newsletter. It should have, so you can subscribe to that, but we not only talk about our work, but we also want to talk about all the collective work. So if you have stuff you want to feature in a newsletter and announcements, et cetera, we want to make sure we get that as well. So please let us know, and please subscribe. It comes out once a month.
Absolutely. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook Live right now, make sure you get engaged with Westside Future Fund via Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Facebook. If you are watching again right now, make sure you subscribe to our channel and like all of our videos. And if you are here in person today, which we appreciate, thank you for coming on in again. If you're watching live, you cannot get your free Chick-fil-A breakfast, okay? So make sure you come live next time in person. Make sure you get your raffle tickets in the back by the door in which you entered. We are giving away 2 gift cards today, so make sure you stay to the end for the winners.
All right, thank you. Under leadership of Mayor Dickens, he has a real focus on some of the historic neighborhoods on the West Side, including English Avenue, Vine City. One of the things, I've learned through our work, what can often be a real challenge is folks not having the right wills for their estate, for their homes. And so, making sure that, the homes can stay in their family and don't go into probate court. And to really help with that, the mayor is sponsoring, and I think the mayor will be there. But if you know folks that could benefit from this, and I know, Linda, you said you're going to get it out, help us get it out there. Thank you. But on April 12th, the Mayor's Office of Policy, in partnership with the City Law Department, will be hosting a lunch and learn focused on senior wills and estate planning services. So this will be pro bono services sponsored by the Mayor's legal team at Kip Woodson Park Academy. So the mayor himself will be there. I know it's a real passion point for him. The city attorney, Patrice Berkens-Hooker. And so there'll be attorneys on site to do estate planning. So if you know folks that would benefit from that, we'd really encourage you. I think we have pamphlets out in the back. And I know, too, the mayor's team is really calibrating us to see if this is a useful service, to keep doing it as well, to help with those kind of planning services. So we hope you'll help get out the word. And again, the flyer's back in the table. And now I'm going to shift to our devotion part of our sermon, our service. And I always want to begin with a grounding statement and our devotional statement. I'm going to read it out loud. It's also up behind me. It's become our tradition to begin our meetings with a positive, inspirational message from a member of our community, recognizing that many in our community are driven by their spiritual faith to participate in the Westside Revitalization effort. The time at the beginning of our meeting is an opportunity to share various and spiritual reflections. While the speakers may articulate their personal faith, it's meant to be inclusive, inspiring, and meaningful, with the story of Nehemiah as our guide. And we've been taking the story of Nehemiah as our framing for these devotions since we began this about 10 years ago. And so the story in the Old Testament of Nehemiah going back to Jerusalem, to first make Jerusalem safe by rebuilding the wall for residents to come back and stay, and then how you rebuild community. And really, what's exciting to me for our devotion speaker, kind of in that theme of Nehemiah and rebuilding, is our devotion speaker, Stephen Wilson, actually lives in one of our, we've been on and sponsored English Avenue. So kind of in that Nehemiah moving back into the community, helping rebuild community. We're talking about that before his remarks, but his full bio is in the bulletin, but he is a native Atlantan, a graduate of Georgia State University, and he actually lives on Proctor Street near Katherine Johnson Memorial Park. He has a deep commitment to community growth and engagement, by moving into the neighborhood. Now, we were actually talking beforehand how he's working in Katherine Johnson Park to help youth have an opportunity to enjoy sports in the park. but he has a passion for travel, great food, and gardening. And as I mentioned, he finds the time to mentor others, especially youth. So please join me in welcoming him as he comes on stage to lead us in our devotion. Thank you for doing this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. If you've crossed paths with me in the area, and some of you probably have, I'm an Atlanta native. I'm a Grady baby. I grew up over in Oakland City and West End and spent my teen years over in the Bluff. So I've been around for a long time. And then as I grew older and got into a career, I worked at Boys and Girls Clubs. I ran the John H. Harlan Boys and Girls Club right across from Dean Rusk, which one of our previous speakers talked about. I worked with the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club on Donnelly. So I'm very familiar with the neighborhood. I've given back to the neighborhood. I've been around for a long time. So you've probably seen me somewhere, somehow. You're probably thinking about, this guy looks familiar. That's why you know me, all right? One of the things you may have noticed about me is that no matter what the time of day or night, I always say good morning. And I love saying that. I've been saying that for many years. And I do it for several reasons. One is that by me saying good morning, even if it's 9:30 in the evening, it's going to elicit a response from you. It's going to snap you out of whatever doldrums you're in, whatever space you're in your head, whatever you're worried about. Someone saying good morning at 5 o'clock at the end of your day is going to really jar you. And you're going to say, wait, what? It's not morning. Sometimes it's, I don't want to start this day over again. Sometimes it's like, have you looked at your watch? You know what time it is? But one, I have your attention. I've engaged you in conversation. And then 90% of the time, when we leave that conversation, I'm going to leave you with a smile. I used to be a car salesman many years ago. And one of the things I learned as a car salesman is if I got you to smile, it's only a matter of time before I get you to make the sale. So now I'm not selling cars, I'm selling joy. And if I can give you that 2 minutes of joy to put that smile on your face and say, when you get home, say, that fool was crazy. Talking about morning in the middle of the night and making me smile and making me giggle. I wasn't even in the mood for it. I've sold you a little bit of joy for that day. My mission is accomplished. So I come to you this morning, not prepared because my phone keeps timing out. I was supposed to be here in January making this devotion. But as sometimes happens, fate gets in the way, and I lost my brother suddenly. Went out to walk his dog, and God said, come on home, the dog can stay. In addition to that, I start off the year by losing my job, the layoffs. And then they had the temerity to say, you know what? We found another position for you, but it'll pay you about a third less than what you were making. Congratulations. So that was it's been a rough start to 2025. So sort of dark, cold. But one thing that we know is that after the night comes the dawn. We go to Psalms 30, 4-5. Sing unto the Lord, O ye saints of his, and give thanks at the remembrance of his holiness. For his anger endureth but a moment. In his favor of life, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. So weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. So I went through a long, dark winter. And now, as we enter the beautiful spring with the flowers and the birds and the dew and just a beautiful time of year, my favorite time of year, by the way, because I can handle the pollen, I'm good with it. I was raised in it, you know. So it's like a new morning. It's like a new morning after the darkness of winter. And we all know that joy comes in the morning. I'm joyful. I'm joyful that I have an opportunity to come and speak to you today. I'm joyful to have a wonderful house in a wonderful neighborhood through a wonderful program. I'm joyful that I am blessed with wonderful neighbors like Sean, Karina, Katrina, Dr. Kimberly, and Dia. They care about you, to check on you, see how things are going. They don't bring me dinner, but that's all right. I can afford to miss a few. We're working on that. We're working on the food. But we have that connection. We have that community. We have that love for each other that makes sure that everyone's okay. And that brings me joy. So I come to you this morning with joy in my heart. And I say, good morning, John. I say, good morning, Tamika, where are you? Morning, Tamika. I say, good morning, Westside. I say, good morning, Westside. Good morning. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate your message of God promising joy at the end of a dark night. It can be hard to remember that when you're going through a dark night. And thank you also for sharing your own personal story as a part of that. It makes it even more meaningful, your uplifting spirit and your giving spirit this morning to lead us in our devotion this morning. So really, thank you for modeling your faith. And let's thank him again for the devotion. So for our next part of our summit, this is a great part of our Transform Westside Summits for those that are here for the first time, is we take the time to do self-introductions. So in just a moment, Ebony is going to move around the room for those that are here for the first time with the mic. Don't get too excited. You don't get to hold it for too long. But we would like you with the mic and hold it close to your mouth so we can hear you. We'd love for you to say your name. And we'd love for you to say, your affiliation, or if you want to, kind of what part of the city you live in. And then we just want you to stop. We really do. And we would love to tell more about what you want to say in our e-newsletter or other mechanisms. We don't not want to broadcast it. We're just trying to move through everything this morning. And I would encourage you, especially those for the first time, the networking that has come out of these Transform Westside Summits, because it taps into the creativity of our commitment to make for a better Westside is tremendous. So as you're listening to introductions, you may think of someone that, hey, I might be able to be of service to that person, or maybe I have something that they could help me with. So that's why we really take the time to do these self-introductions. So Ebony will lead us through it. Thank you, Ebony.
Thank you, John. As he said, make sure you hold it kind of close, and do not hold it by this part. Is that correct? Hold it here, right? Because this will mess up the signals. And again, make it short, please, so everybody can get a chance. Thank you.
Good morning. Steve Wilson. I live on fabulous Proctor Street for the last 3 years.
Good morning, Danita Knight. You'll hear more from me shortly, so I'll keep it moving.
Good morning, Sarah Irvin, YWCA of Greater Atlanta, and you'll hear from me with Danita.
Good morning, Katie Farmer. I'm the Chief Development Officer at YWCA Greater Atlanta.
Good morning, Xenia with YWCA Greater Atlanta, and I also live on the west side.
Good morning, I'm Sydney Thomas with YWCA Greater Atlanta. I serve our president and CEO, and I just moved back to the west side 2 weeks ago.
Good morning, I am Joy Ava Philpott. I serve on the board of the YWCA, and I bring you greetings from North Fulton.
Good morning. I'm Anita Wallace Thomas. I'm a proud board member of the YWCA and a partner in the law firm of Nelson Mullins, because I'm always marketing.
Good morning. Michael Davis, Westside resident, Atlanta Beltline Partnership.
Good evening. I'm Kathleen Bryant with Partners in Change, and we provide free life coaching for adults pursuing new goals.
Hi, good morning. Neil Shorthouse, also with Partners in Change.
Good morning. Charlie McCracken from the Neighborhood Empowerment and Wealth Collective. Good morning, Troya Jackson, Director of Navigator Services with Families First.
Good morning. I'm Shirley Coleman with Sadie G. Mays Health and Rehabilitation Center, and I grew up on the West Side, and I attended the Phillis Wheatley summer camp.
Good morning. My name is Lakeisha Ezel, and I'm the mortgage loan officer at Self Help Credit Union on Ralph David.
Good morning. I'm Daryl LaSure, adjunct professor, Morris Brown College.
Good morning, Britt Gray. I work for Coal Fire. We're an ethical hacking firm, and I live in Reynoldstown.
Good morning, I'm Greer Duckworth. I live in the Emory area.
Good morning, I'm Nick Dalgavalda. I'm an Atlanta native, but I live in Home Park.
Good morning, I'm Sterling Akers. I'm a Midtown resident, but excited to be here.
Good morning. Ooh, good morning. Ryan Snodgrass with Perkins & Will, West End resident. Happy to be here.
Good morning, Colleen Hernandez Ayala. I am an excited new board member at the Westside Future Fund and an architect at Perkins & Will.
Good morning. My name's Cecil Phillips. I'm chairman and CEO of Place Properties. We build modular housing. We built a house on Brawley, another one on Sunset and Hairston.
Good morning, Linda Adams, Vine City resident.
Good morning, Charmin Goins from the SWATs, but here in support of YWCA of Greater Atlanta.
Sean Wildwood, English Avenue neighbor and neighbor of Steve, and Morehouse School of Medicine.
Good morning, Sharita Cunningham. I work at Spelman College in the Office of Civic Engagement.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Angura Susi with Redefine Ed Atlanta, a local public education nonprofit.
Oops. Thank you. Good morning. I'm Randy Gorod. I'm the development director for the Insoro Educational Foundation. We support people aging out of the foster care system.
Good morning. I'm Anjum Khan, and I serve with those wonderful women over there at the YWCA, and I'm a Midtown resident and work with Kaiser Permanente.
Good morning, I'm Joan Stewart. I'm a Smyrna resident, but do a lot of things in this area, so I'm happy to be here with you today.
Good morning, Carol Waddy, Chick-fil-A.
Good morning, a nearby Cobb County resident.
Good morning, Leonard Watkins, NPUL chair.
Where do you live?
In the West Side.
Good morning, Colette Haywood. Where are you, Daryl? Proud graduate of Morris Brown. I also attended Phillis Wheatley, and I'm a resident of Vine City.
Good morning, I'm Carla Moore, Annie Moore, and I am a resident of English Avenue and the Director of Operations of the Green Team of English Avenue.
Good morning, Daniel Sostomsky, Midtown resident, work at Boston Consulting Group.
Hello, my name is Ebony. I live in Vine City and I have 2 kids at Hollis Academy.
Good morning, good morning. Ivan Gaskin, Morehouse College grad, Vine City resident. How you doing? And currently the CEO of Good Dirt Realty, affordable housing provider on the West Side. So.
Good morning, Candace Bird, Atlanta native, Grady baby. I live in the SWATs, and I'm here to hear about the YWCA.
Good morning, my name is Matt Pearl with Pearl Impact Media. I do video storytelling for nonprofits, and next month will mark 16 years in Metro Atlanta for me.
Good morning, I'm Mandy Eatson with Self Help Credit Union in the West End.
Good morning, I'm Tracy Powell, born and raised West Side, and I am the office leader of Pinnacle Financial Partners, Economic Empowerment Resource Center right next door.
Head to the front, but while I'm doing that, I just want to thank the Westside Future Fund team that's sitting around the perimeter, and also the production team, videographers, camera people that we have. Couldn't make this happen without them.
Good morning, Jerry Kiernan, AP Campus Insights.
Good morning, Christy Beam. I'm the lead founder for Academy for Innovation in Medicine, a new 612 public school proposed here in the Westside to support students from middle school to med school.
Good morning, I'm Terrence Lewis with Coastal States Bank, and I'm with, I live in College Park.
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm Dwight Johnson, the owner of Total Athlete Sports Complexes in Henry County. We own 2 gyms down there. We train a lot of youth athletes, but I'm glad to be here.
Good morning, Giovanni Este, new transplant from Florida. I'm with Combined Insurance for supplemental benefits. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Sheldon Hill, Foreclosure International. We've been in business now 34 years, going on 35. We specialize in stopping foreclosures, evictions, educating, empowering people, and building communities. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Dr. Leroy Wright. I'm the senior pastor, First Thessalonian Missionary Baptist Church, and we invite the community to join us in feeding tomorrow morning. We have fish and grits.
Anthony Bellows, Happy Women's Month, and I'm a Legacy resident.
If you guys care, there are cameras here and there. If you want to, see yourself on the video later, make sure you kind of play towards those, if you care.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Solon Goiva. I'm founder of Quantum Do, and I'm a performance coach helping people from a plateau to breakthrough.
Good morning, I'm Dan Cathy with Chick-fil-A, and I do publicity for Maria Supporta. Oh, she's here. Oh, okay.
Good morning, Amy Snellings, work with Chick-fil-A, and I live in Franklin County, or Franklin, Georgia.
Good morning, Katie Wheatley, also with Chick-fil-A, and I'm an East Sider coming from Kirkwood.
Good morning, Jake Pittman with Town at Trilith in Fayetteville and proud Atlanta native.
Good morning. I live in the SWATs, although I'm always here, so my neighbors really don't feel like I live there. I am the co-founder of Raising Expectations. I'm excited to be here this morning.
Jamar Jeffers, Partners in Change, and I too reside in the Republic of Southwest Atlanta.
Well, I can't go behind that. My name is Sandra Bush, and I'm a Legacy resident of the Booker T. Washington neighborhood. Booker T. Washington and I have something in common. We both finished Hampton University.
Good morning. My name is Kiana Collins, and I am a Clark Atlanta alumni, and I'm with Georgia Premier Homes, where we connect people with communities.
Good morning. My name is Terry Lee, and I'm with Atlanta Housing and also a board member for Westside Future Fund.
Good morning. Evan Geekus with Built Wise Structures. We build prefabricated homes, custom homes, and we're very excited to be here. And I live up in Roswell.
Good morning, Rue Gunter with Oaks ATL Community Development and English Avenue resident.
Good morning, I'm Trevor Gunter, English Avenue resident.
Good morning, family. I'm Tillman Ward, Community Resources of Atlanta, based in historic Vine City, resident, stakeholder, all those other good things. And I used to skate at the Phillis Wheatley Y, an alumni of the George Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver Boys Club in Atlanta. And Atlanta's Great Morris Brown College first graduate in hospitality.
Good morning, y'all. My name is Kai Harris. I'm here representing the Southern Poverty Law Center. I won't hold the mic, but would love to talk to anyone who's interested in learning more about our evolving work on the West Side.
Hello, everybody. My name is Addie Claire Evans, and I own a video production company called The Funnel Creative. We service national brands and national campaigns, and I also own a video production company called Media Savvy, and we service local brands and local campaigns. I'm here as the founder of an organization called the Black Entertainment Economic Council. We service several hundred Black professionals in the entertainment industry here in Georgia and business owners, and we provide them with networking and workshop development and training, and wonderful to be here.
Hello, I'm from Danville, Kentucky. I'm Pat Wilson. I'm a social worker, and I am the proud mother of Rachel Carey.
All right. Great daughter.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Abra Carey. I'm in 4th grade, and I'm Rachel Carey's daughter.
Bob Butler, Coldwell Banker Real Estate.
Good morning. My name is Antonio Hinton. I'm a community lender with Renaissance Bank, and I live in Norcross.
Good morning. I'm Susan Banner with Most Valuable Kids of Greater Atlanta. In Avery, I have a car full of books that for you and for anyone who works with youth. Please come get some to take to the youth you support or that live at your home. That's it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, give yourselves a round of applause.
All right, thank you. And hopefully you maybe heard someone you'd love to introduce yourself to that you could help, or approach someone after the summit. So we appreciate everyone taking the time to do that. As I'm just a moment, I'm going to introduce a video, then bring up our guest for today. But I was, reflecting back on our Transform Westside Summits. We've been doing these for about 10 years. Dan's original, brainchild. I remember in the early days, for me anyway, early days, I've been with that after a Transform Westside Summit, and back to, moving forward at that time, I remember a conversation we had, Dan, where you said, part of the story of Nehemiah is if everyone thinks of themselves as a brick and they do their part, how much we can all get done. Because of the gift of how many resources are in this community. And to me, part of that are these bricks, because then in that story of Nehemiah is the resilience of the community that was already there. And so the bricks then enabled the resilience of that community to come to life. And so one of those bricks we're going to hear about today is the Phillis Wheatley building and the great work of the YWCA. And so today's summit is focused on empowering communities, the revitalization of the Phillis Wheatley Westside. So for over a century, the YWCA has worked to eliminate racism, empower women, and strengthen communities through education, economic empowerment, and advocacy. The Phillis Wheatley YWCA has been a cornerstone of the Westside, and its revitalization will expand access to critical services from early childhood education to workforce training. This is more than a restoration, it's a commitment to lasting change. And they are inviting everyone to support this transformative effort. And so we're going to show a short video, and then their leaders are going to come up on stage for a conversation to share about more where they are.
I believe it's important, if you have a voice and if you have a presence, to use that to benefit other people. We need to really fill a gap on the west side of Atlanta for women and their families.
This community has been poured into over the last several years. We've seen a lot of transformative work, but we still know that there's opportunity. There are more than 50% of the residents who are living under the poverty line, and 60% of households are led by women.
So we had women come in, we talked to them about their lives, about their children, about their communities, and about what they wanted and needed. They told us that they wanted child care for their children, healthcare services, mental health services,
training resources, cultural activities, and just serve as a community gathering place.
It's time to bring the Phillis Wheatley Westside YWCA back to the city of Atlanta, but it's also time to expand our breadth and depth. So we're entering the front door of the Phillis Wheatley Westside YWCA. This would have been a combination of class space, and there is some kitchen equipment in here in case they may have had a catered event of some kind. And again, this would have been a place for people to obviously exercise and have exercise classes, but also a place for people to socialize.
The campaign goal is $19.5 million. And this is a collaborative effort. We call it collaboration in action because we know that the YWCA can't give this community everything it needs. So we're partnering with organizations that are already doing the work in the community. We're partnering with Chris 180, who's going to help us with mental health services. We're partnering with Morehouse School of Medicine, who will provide health care and health services and health education for the women. We're partnering with the YMCA of Greater Atlanta, who's our partner right across the street. And we're partnering with Families First. And I'm so excited about Families First because in addition to providing navigator services for the women, they are also going to collect the data because we want to be able to go back to our partners, our donors, our contributors to say, you supported us in this way, and here are the results of what that support meant to the women on the West Side.
I worked in community for 30 years at the Coca-Cola Company, and I always looked for the organizations that would do the heavy lifting. The YWCA is a heavy lifting organization.
There are so many women and their families in this community who feel like no one can see them and no one can hear them. And I am here to assure those women and their families and more that we see them, we hear them, and we will support them. We need your help too. Please join me and the collaborators in supporting the soon-to-be revitalized Phillis Wheatley Westside YWCA. And thank you in advance.
All right, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And y'all have been a part of our work from the very beginning, so thank you. And maybe first to start, so folks know a little bit more about you, maybe each of you could talk a little bit about who you are and your role with this effort, so I'll start.
Sure, thank you, and good morning, everybody. Before I do anything, I have to acknowledge my village of support. So I want to acknowledge Sharman Goins, who is the immediate past CEO of YWCA Greater Atlanta. Thank you for being here. And then I have several wonderful board members, but 3 of them are here today. So Anjum, Joy, and Anita, please stand so that people can see you. Thank you for being here. And then I have a powerhouse team of staff who keep me reined in. No easy task. So team members, please stand. Katie is here, Sydney, and I think Zia is over in the corner. Thank you all for all you do. And then I have Leadership Atlanta classmates. Thank you for being here, and just general supporters. So thank you, thank you. So now I'll answer your question. This has been a long time coming, but before I just want to tell a little bit about my story, what my why is. So Sharman announced her retirement in sort of mid-year 2022, and my phone started ringing. And people said, did you just hear Sharman's retiring? And I said, no, I wasn't aware Sharman's retiring. And then the phone kept ringing, and the phone kept ringing. And so what I did was finally pay attention to the fact that the phone kept ringing, John, and decided that maybe this would be a moment where I needed to stop and pay attention to what that meant. As it turns out, it meant my coming to this wonderful opportunity on the shoulders of some outstanding women, Sharman included, so thank you for all of your ongoing support. And that was a little over 2 years ago. It's been exciting and exhausting all at the same time because I jumped into a capital campaign that you'll hear about in just a second, but one of the most important things I've ever done in my life. So very happy to be here, John. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did a great job. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Sarah Irvin, and I am the immediate past board chair, currently a board chair, and I also chair the Phillis Wheatley Committee. And it is the passion project that has come along in my life that I am so excited about. My partner in crime, as I call her, is Ingrid Saunders-Jones. And unfortunately, due to a funeral, she couldn't be with us today. But I just want you to know, as Ingrid told me last night, to let everyone know how much she supports this campaign and the work we're doing at the great YWCA Greater Atlanta. Thank you, John.
No, thank you. Thanks for both of being here. And the video did a great job of telling some of that story, but back to thinking about what an amazing brick the Phillis Wheatley YWCA has been for this community. So bringing it back into life, so to speak. So, but tell a little bit more about the Phillis Wheatley Historic YWCA for folks. Maybe
Sure.
coming out of the video, so folks have a deeper appreciation of the history it's played in this community.
Right. So how many people know who Phillis Wheatley is? Just show of hands. Okay. Awesome, you all. But I'll still tell the story because it's important for those of you who don't know to know who she is and why this building is named after her. So Phillis Wheatley was a slave who came to America at the age of 7. And she got connected with a family, and if there was any blessing in servitude, this family chose to pour into her. They taught her how to read, how to write, and how to play the piano, and she traveled extensively with them. As it turns out, she was a child prodigy. So everything they poured into her just became more for her. She would have been a poet laureate if you could have had poet laureate in the days of slavery. She was just that talented. And also, again, played instruments and was featured in Washington with presidents later on in her life, and also focused on helping people not be slaves going forward. So an amazing legacy. I tell that story for this reason. What Phillis Wheatley became is what we do at YWCA Greater Atlanta every single day. We take women who already have the natural skills and abilities, and we pour into them to help them move from just merely surviving to thriving. That's why this is so important.
John, if I could, I just want to read a quote because I think where our nation is today, this is Phillis Wheatley's quote that she wrote back in the 1700s. In every human breast, God has implanted a principle which we call love of freedom. It's impatient of oppression and pants for deliverance. And that we're experiencing today. Yeah.
No, thank you. And I was thinking about the devotion earlier of darkness leading to the joy of the morning, and certainly she, in her own life, I'm sure encountered a lot of darkness, but then was able to give such light through her poetry. But Sarah, I think I remember when y'all first began work over 7 years ago. I remember talking at these Transform Westside Summits. But you have really, and as a volunteer, thank you, have persevered. But tell us about some of the highs and lows over the last 7 years.
So before I do that, I want to publicly thank you, John, because you have been our amplifier in the community. We could not have done this without John Ahmann. He's the man who's been behind all of these women. I know he hates it when I embarrass him like that, but he has always been with us when we had these breakfast meetings here at the gathering spot 7+ years ago. So last night I was laying in bed thinking about highs and lows, and I couldn't think of any lows. And I was talking to Danita this morning, and she's like, well, the only low was that there were some folks in the community who did not embrace our vision. And we get that because the YWCA Greater Atlanta, as wonderful as we are, we have kind of flown below the radar. We didn't talk about the great work that we're doing in the community, how we are impacting the lives of girls. And so that for me was the low, if you will. And the high is every day that I get up and I'm able to do one thing that helps to support the Phillis Wheatley restoration. Danita is a slave driver. I can't tell you the amount of hours that I put in, but it's wonderful work. And I just encourage everyone who's here to get on board because the train is moving and it's moving with wonderful women who are supporting this effort.
Awesome, Sarah. Thank you.
And John, of course.
Thank you.
So I call John my brother. You all don't ask any questions. Just know that we're that close.
Yeah, no.
That's all there is to it.
No, I appreciate that. And one of the, my own why in this, and especially living in, and been living in Vine City, but seeing, a lot of women and reflecting what is the role models that they need to see and inspire from. And that's why I was so excited about the YWCA, because it's folks like you coming into the community, inspiring our next generation. So thank you. And one of the next questions goes to y'all's intentionality around design. And one of the things, appreciate about the work when we first did Westside Land Use Framework Plan. One of the real concerns of the community was as the community was rebuilt, that the neighbor's house looked they looked alike. That the historic design of the community was preserved, and so one of the parts of the Westside Land Use Framework Plan was design standards that are part of any new permit. But I know y'all have been really intentional about the design of the Phillis Wheatley renovation. So talk more about how that design and how you're thinking of that has gone into this renovation.
And Sarah, I will give you a second to weigh in, but before I do that, I do want to provide you all with some other important context. So we are bringing back the Phillis Wheatley YWCA. It was a YWCA as early as the 1950s, and then there were a number of iterations with the building. It became a women's shelter, it became Imhotep Academy, if you remember that, and then it was completely closed in 2017. So we are bringing back this beautiful, iconic building, just to build on what you just shared, John. Please, Sarah.
Yeah, so part of what we're doing in the building is to bring in programs and services that the women on the West Side told us they wanted. We did not want to come in and assume that we knew what they needed. So we developed, we had social circles. And again, John was very instrumental in this. We had probably 6 of them. And we talked to the women about what they wanted in the community for themselves and for their children. And the wonderful thing was, in each of the social circles, and they spanned over 6 years, it was consistent. They wanted health care for themselves and for their children. And one of our partners is here today, Morehouse School of Medicine. They wanted mental health services. So we're partnering with Chris 180 to bring culturally relevant health, mental services to the women and children. They wanted to be able to come into a building where they felt valued and respected. And what came out of the social circles is the women on the West Side do not feel like they are seen, like they are heard, or like they are respected. And they don't want jobs, menial jobs. They want jobs that are meaningful for them. They don't want to work in, McDonald's, but those are not the kinds of jobs that they wanted. And so it was important for us, as we developed the programs and services, that we responded to those needs and those wants. The other partner that we have, and I won't belabor this, but of course it's the Westside Future Fund, because here we are. John was very instrumental in bringing us here during Women's History Month. And it's really important because everyone on our team is a woman. Our architect is a woman. You see Danita, our CEO, a woman. Our board, women. So it's been very inspirational for us, and it's also been inspirational for the women that we've talked to on the West Side.
And thank you, Sarah. There's one other important piece to share. And Lauren Coons is not here today, but we are in full partnership with YMCA of Metro Atlanta. And I want to amplify that because that is highly unusual. YWCAs and YMCAs do not typically play in the same sandbox. But if John is my brother, Lauren is my sister. So it's just that tight of a partnership. Just wanted to acknowledge that.
And maybe on that, and y'all have been so intentional about your different partners to work with. You want to say more about the partners you're imagining working with when the YWCA opens up?
So I'm going to push that to...
Sure. So here they are on the screen. Again, YMCA, Chris 180, Families First, Morehouse School of Medicine, and of course, Westside Future Fund. And as Sarah and I have continued to talk about this, because the model is focused on tending to the whole woman, which means the woman and her village. So a woman will be walking into this building with a whole crew of people. Could be sons, could be adult parents, could be partners, spouses, all the things. This list of collaborators will grow, but we have to open up the doors first. And as I talk about all the time, we don't know what we don't know, but we need to be ready to respond to the needs of the women, girls, and their families in real time when they walk in the door.
And one of the important staff members for the new building is going to be the reception. I'm going to call her a receptionist for now, but she will be so much more than that, because that's the person that is going to welcome that woman with a smile and a hug, if you will, so that she'll know that she's in a place where she can get help. And we have Families First here who will be able to provide navigator services so that we can direct women to the programs or services that they need.
No, one of the pieces I really appreciate about the intentionality of what y'all's work is, thinking through the needs you heard from the community, but also then being very intentional about the different partners you could reach out to rather than try to, rebuild the capability yourself, being very thoughtful about tapping into others' capabilities, anchored at your historic facility.
We knew that at the YW, we could not do all of those programs and services. We didn't have the experience, we didn't have the bandwidth to do it, and so it was important for us to go into the community and choose partners that were already doing the work in the community, that the community knew, trusted, and respected.
And doing the work in an excellent way.
Right.
I might add.
And you mentioned, I don't know if you want to talk some more about your learning, but I know, back to when we, first started, one of your first questions to me, Sarah, was, we want to get out there and hear directly from the community. And, you want to talk more about those circles. You've done them a few different times to learn, to reaffirm, but do you want to talk more about those sister circles?
So, a couple of wonderful things came out of these social circles. One is, and Ebony talked a lot about this, and some of you guys in the audience, how much they love the West Side. They think it is the best place to live, and they want us to come in and help to amplify that even more. I had some quotes from some of the women, and they said things like, bear with me a moment. I grew up here, you all flew here. So it's, right, so it was important for them to acknowledge that the West Side is welcoming to all, but you've got to respect the people who grew up here. Family and children friendly, they have great resources, great schools, and they identify and have pride in the culture on the West Side. And so as we develop the programs and services, the look and feel, when you walk in, we want people, we want the women to see, I'm sorry, Holland, I don't. Women to see themselves and to see women who've come before them and who've kind of laid the groundwork for the work that we're doing and that they are going to do, because we expect great things from them.
And Sarah, you just reminded me of another piece that I'd like to amplify. Just to show you all the level of thoughtfulness that has gone into this planning. So there is a committee, and there will be lots of names, if you look at this slide, of outstanding powerhouse women and a few enlightened men who have helped us get to this point. But this group has done this work for more than 7 years in terms of the thoughtfulness. That included feasibility studies with some of you in the room, with corporate partners, with foundation partners, with individuals, just to make sure that we were doing our due diligence and not bringing our privilege to the redevelopment or the revitalization of the Phillis Wheatley Westside YWCA.
And also, and you said a little bit about it, but I think to help remind folks that you're bringing something back to life that was a thriving asset to the community.
Absolutely.
And so maybe to help for those that aren't as familiar with the history, but talk a little bit about it, about earlier days, how it served the community.
Sure, so there are lots of fun stories there. So in addition to being a YWCA, the Phillis Wheatley YWCA, we've added the word Westside to it. But the Phillis Wheatley YWCA was a gathering place for Atlanta's Black community. So there are wonderful stories about Labette Russell going to summer camp and sitting in the floor of the gymnasium and eating her peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Maynard Jackson taking either etiquette or piano lessons there. And then you've heard some other stories about folks here in the room who went to the Phillis Wheatley YWCA. It was a summer camp, it was a gathering place, it was also a social and civic space for Atlanta's Black community.
And so really, and I see Maria Supporta, who is always such an advocate for preserving history and historic structures, because you preserve those structures, you preserve their stories, and you preserve their inspiration. And we know that's a big part about bringing this really important for us to back to life. And you mentioned, Maynard Jackson, and we're excited. Maynard Jackson lived on, I think y'all know this, but his mother and father, his father was a minister, Friendship Baptist Church, his mother a French Spelman professor. They built a multifamily on Sunset Avenue, a 5-unit multifamily. He lived in it half, it rented out the rest. He lived there until he was 13, so he lived right around the corner. And I guess could probably walk on down.
That's right.
and we'll be opening up that in partnership with Spelman later this spring. But talk a little bit, especially in and maybe to kind of set the stage, because I've mentioned it before, but we're doing a lot of work on James P. Brawley Drive and English Avenue, and there was a young woman who would, great spirit, an entrepreneur, would sell lemonade, Trinity, and would often reflect, the particular corner she was on, she could kind of look one way, it could be kind of a dark look, along with that joy and hope. But as we think about Trinity and thinking about when this opens up, talk a little bit about what you would want her to, and women like her, to experience when they walk into this building.
So thank you. As the building was previously, this will be a safe space for women, girls, and their families. If you look at the design of the slide, and we also brought renderings that you can look at more closely after the meeting is over, there is a lighted, what will become a lighted beacon that says YWCA. Our hope is that will be lit all the time so that women, girls, and their families on the west side of Atlanta know that that's their space. Historically, it was a safe space and a gathering space, and we're bringing that back. And you mentioned the facade. We are so proud that the original exterior of the building is going to be the exterior of the building. We're not tearing that down. That's too important to the city of Atlanta and to the West Side. So we're very excited about creating this safe haven for women, girls, and their families and their village, and excited to bring that back. You talked about people walking to the YWCA, and we can tell that they walked because there are only about 6 parking spaces around this building. So we are in communication with potential partners to provide some additional parking spaces so more women, girls, and families can come there.
Great. Anything you wanted to add?
No, good.
Okay. Well, I think we're about to open it up to the audience. You have an opportunity to ask questions. But before we open up to the audience, also I want to appreciate, because you want to do this from a perspective of serving the community. So I know what a really important part about that is. You renovate this facility, you don't want it to open up with any debt, so that you can fully focus your operating funds on serving the community. And with a historic renovation, it's more expensive than a new build. And so talk about where you are in your capital campaign, because you really are bringing this building back in such a quality way to inspire and to serve. But I know you're close, but I know you want to. But
there's always room,
right,
friends. Always room. Always room for more.
But how's and I know you've been at it for many years. So give us an update on the capital campaign.
Oh my God, we are almost there. We are more than 90% to goal. As Danita said, our goal was $19.5 million, and we are almost there. And we're just praying for that angel who's going to come and take us over the top.
Any more?
Please give.
All right, so we are going to open it up to questions from you. And Ebony has a mic. Raise your hand if you want to ask a question. She'll bring a mic to you. Thank you.
And as a reminder, you guys just kind of keep it short, okay? Appreciate you. It's okay. I know you will, Colette. How you doing?
Hush. I'm sorry. My name is Colette, and like I said, I attended Phillis Wheatley. I took ballet classes. I also served in one of the social circles. So when you all say that you listened, they really did listen to what we said. So the question I have is, how do you plan to work with community moving forward? That's a big question.
No, that's okay. So a couple of thoughts from mine, and I certainly want Sarah to weigh in. So there's community, the West Side community, and this will be the West Side's building as it was historically. And then there's community in terms of the women, girls, and their families that we plan to serve. So our hope is that we will start with this group of collaborators, the slide that you saw earlier. But depending on what a woman needs, and Sarah referenced the person who's sort of going to be the first point of entry in that building, depending on what that woman and her village needs, we want to be able to respond in real time, not to refer her, but to help her in our building get her needs met. Does that answer your question? Okay, wonderful.
And then if I could just add, one of the things that came out of the social circles is the importance of us communicating with the Westside community. And honestly, we've not done a good job of that. And so going forward, we want to make sure that we are in constant communication. I don't know if any of the Avengers are here today, but we want to stay in constant contact with the Westside community.
So the women from the social circle, our most recent one, called themselves the Avengers. And so we like that name. So we continue to refer to them as the Avengers.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ivan Gaskin again. Thank you so much for taking the time to share. And I'm super excited about the work you guys are doing. Question, are there opportunities for local entrepreneurs to support the efforts of what you guys have going on, either from a construction standpoint, cleaning, landscaping, any of the ongoing activities necessary to keep everything running?
So thank you for asking that. There's always room. I'm a minister's daughter, so I'm not going to turn anybody away. There is always room to support us. What we need to do, however, is move from the heavy campaign lift that we've been in the midst of to doing more planning to get ready to open the doors in 2026. So please stay in touch with us. And there's always space for partners who are wanting to help make this building even more than it already will be. Thank you for asking that.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
What can us guys, us fellas, do to help support your mission in an ongoing way as part of the community?
So we love enlightened men, and there are several in this room, so thank you for being here. There is room. So what we need to do is probably have some conversations to make you aware of where we are in terms of our progress, and then talk about potential partnerships going forward, and we're very open to that. Thank you for asking.
Maria Supporta.
Hi, Maria Supporta.
I would love, Danita, if you could talk about some of the roles that you have played in trying to mentor young women, and something I've been able to see and feel and experience. But also, you said you're going to open in 2026. Can you give us more details and where you said you're 90% there? I'm trying to figure that out in my head.
Sure.
Is that like you're 1.5 million away, or where are you?
So we're very close, and I'm being vague intentionally because we are actually rolling out our official numbers next week to our Academy of Women Achievers and also to our board of directors. But Maria, you will be the first to know shortly thereafter, and we will keep you posted. But as Sarah said, we are very close, and thank you for bringing this up, Maria, because this gives me an opportunity to really brag on the entire team, the committee, the board, Charmin, members of our Academy of Women Achievers, and staff. Men certainly have helped us get to this point, corporations, foundations, all kinds of friends from around the city, and we're grateful for that. But at the end of the day, this is largely a project for women and by women, and I'm so proud to be able to say that. And I'm also so proud of our success because, as many of you know, organizations serving women and girls get a very small percentage of the overall philanthropic funding. And we are so proud to be at this point and have defied those odds to be at this point where we can almost celebrate. So more to come, Maria. And my mentoring. So Sydney teases me about this because every time I give a speech, I come back to Sydney and I say, I have 7 new mentees, or I have 8 new mentees. And I'm thankful for that because that means young women are seeing something in me that they think is important to see. So what I've decided to do, because I can't have 20 cups of coffee or 20 cups of tea a month, is to bring that group of women together. And so what Maria is referencing is coming to one of those gatherings, which was a dinner where I brought about 15 women together, and Maria was our guest speaker, and they got to learn about Atlanta's civil rights history from an icon. It was great to have her there. So that's what I do, Maria. I get this group together. I'm trying to figure out a big enough space now to hold the enlarged group. We'll get that sorted out because it's just that important. Thank you for asking.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Leroy Wright. This new administration has come out with negating some platforms that included equality, inclusiveness, and it seems like they've eliminated anybody who used those clauses getting their money. Now, my question to you is, how do you overcome the barrier of fitting the not promoting inclusiveness, culture, and equality, and still get the money that you're trying to get because of this new administration?
I was waiting for somebody to ask this question. There it is. So a little bit of context before I respond. We are 123 years old in this city. That's how long we have had a presence here. And one of our associations was in partnership with Spelman College, so our roots are very deep. We are 160 plus years old as a national association with more than 200 affiliates around the country. So I say all of that to say that we have some tenure and we have some backbone and we have some longevity. And as our national president said on a call to the presidents not long ago, we've been on lists before. So you can take that and go run with that. And in terms of where we are here in the city of Atlanta, our lofty but simple mission continues to be our lofty and simple mission. And that was the mission that we had 120 plus years ago. That's the mission that we had nationally 160 plus years ago. And that's the mission we will continue to have.
And we're Atlanta, and Atlanta has really stepped up to the plate to really help us get to this over 90% of goal. And so I am concerned about that, but I know that Atlanta corporations, the philanthropic community, has been so wonderful to us, and I cannot imagine that that would stop.
Thank you for asking the question. No, it's an important question.
Hi again.
Hello.
Hey.
Yes, you guys have done a great job. Congratulations on all the progress you've made. I'm very excited about the opening and everything. I did want to ask you, you've done a good job with explaining all the benefits for women. I didn't hear as much about children. Mm-hmm. I think I heard you say childcare or daycare was going to be available.
Yes.
But I know, the history of the Y is like a lot of programs for kids. I took swimming at the Edgewood Y, tennis team at the one on Campbellton, and what about kids?
Thank you. You set this up perfectly, and I meant to bring it up earlier. So one of our signature programs, one of our core programs, is our Early Learning Academy. We are one YWCA that will have 2 locations. So we currently have a location on North Highland Avenue that has capacity for 180 children as part of our Early Learning Academy, children as young as 6 weeks of age all the way up to 5 years of age. When we open up the Phillis Wheatley or reopen the Phillis Wheatley Westside YWCA, we will have capacity for 85 children for an Early Learning Academy as well. And we are intending to subsidize as many of those slots as we possibly can. As you all know, early learning, childcare, safe, affordable childcare is a foundational issue for women and their families. Thank you for asking that.
Get these last 2 questions.
Sheldon Hill again. We deal in the housing area, and we used to be a partner with you guys in the housing market. So we just wanted to know, with the ongoing onslaught of homelessness in Georgia and Atlanta, what are your guys' goals and ideas about it, dealing with those issues?
Sure. So housing is also a foundational issue for people. And so I talked earlier about the current list of collaborators that we have been in partnership with for a number of years. We know that women will walk in the door with housing insecurity and that we will need to respond to that. So we will continue to talk with community partners, certainly with John and his team, with the city of Atlanta and all the good work they're doing around affordable housing to figure out how to open up the net even wider to ensure that no one falls through the gaps.
Good morning.
Good morning.
John, coincidentally, I finished the book of Nehemiah this morning as part of the morning devotion.
Yeah.
Unenlightened question, I'll tell you right now.
Okay.
Can you expand on, for me and probably some others that don't want to ask, about the Academy of Women Achievers?
Oh, sure. Would love to talk about that. And I did not pay him to do this, but this is perfect. Thank you so much. So the Academy of Women Achievers is a cohort of women, about 40 years now, who we recognize every year at our Salute to Women of Achievement luncheon. These are outstanding women in the community whose work and life and values align with our mission, vision, and values. So here's the perfect setup. Thank you, friend, for this. The Salute to Women of Achievement luncheon is May 8th at the Atlanta Marriott Marquis. And there is information available for you on our website, but also Katie Farmer, our Chief Development Officer, is here, and she'd be happy to separate you from your sponsorship or table money, ticket money, to make sure you attend that event. So I know you're coming. I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much.
Do we have any more?
I think that's it.
Any more questions?
Back to you, John, I think.
Well, as we get ready to, finish up here, any final reflections that y'all want to make sure the audience leaves with, or messages you want to make sure people remember as they go forward?
I'm going to go first, Sarah.
I'm going to quote Harriet, who was in one of the social circles. And she said, if home is not right, community is not right. And so I encourage everyone here, please support us. Get on board with the renovation of the Phillis Wheatley Westside YWCA, because it's important to all of us. Whether we live on the West Side or not, it benefits the Atlanta community and the world, honestly.
I agree.
We're a model.
That's right. Please remember Phyllis's story and the importance of women with natural skill and ability coming to a place finally. And John, you said this quote, that once we open the doors, we will be the only space singularly focused on women on the west side of Atlanta. So it's just that important, just to build on what Sarah said. And then the devotional that I read was about Nehemiah as well. I was telling Stephen this earlier. And, Nehemiah could not get distracted. And I remember, Charmin, when I hadn't even started here, and I came to this meeting, didn't know what you all were doing here, but Charmin was here, and I trust everything that Charmin tells me to do. And I remember saying, I'm the Nehemiah at this moment. So I will not get distracted. I will stay up on the wall. I will not let naysayers, tear down this project. We're getting this building built. Let's go.
Well, I want to say thank you, and thank you for your indomitable spirit and drive to get this done. And I was looking at eliminating racism and empowering women, and reflecting. One of my favorite sermons by Dr. Martin Luther King was the drum major instinct. And for me, he kind of identified as a chief challenge that brings both darkness and light ourselves. Right? And our inherent ism of self, narcissism, which we all have, and he does a wonderful job of talking about how to manage that. And then what do you choose to put it, because we all have it, want to, and the drum major instinct is put it in service of self. It's a natural human instinct. But how do you put it in service of the other? Yeah. Like in Nehemiah, in service of the other, and as in our connection and our service to God is our way to the other, and serving as a drum major for justice. Right. And I want to thank y'all both and all the work of the YWCA and serving on behalf of the other and the work you've done to bring this to life. So thank you, and give them another round of applause to finish up.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Sorry, just checking. Make sure it's on. That was an awesome conversation. Thank you. Thank you all. And as promised, we're giving away 2 gift cards today. One is from the Goodwill of North Georgia, so pull out your white tickets. Hey, Sean. And the winning ticket number is 314-0417. 314-0417. That again is the white ticket, not the red. No one? Think you got it? 314-0417? Congrats. Come up afterwards, okay? As soon as you get let out. Thank you. And also, Home Depot Foundation giving away a gift card today. The winning red, I'm sorry, I thought we had red tickets. The winning blue ticket number is 130995. 130995. 995. Anyone? 130-995. Blue ticket. Okay. Congrats. Make sure you come up afterwards, okay? Thank you. Okay.
Well, thank you all for being here today. We're really grateful for you being here. We'll be back on that third Friday in April, so we'd love to see you again. Yes. We would encourage you, if you know people that would love to come to these Transform Westside Summits, to encourage them to attend. We hope, thanks again to our devotion speaker. Thanks again to all the great work of the YWCA.
Yes.
And I should also say thank you to Chick-fil-A. They, once again, as they have now for a decade, been bringing the breakfasts to the Transform Westside Summit, so thank you. And we hope you have a great... I can't say no to that.
Let's do it.
So, you want to lead it?
Yes. I want to say oh, not that one, sorry. I had to. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, you want to do that one? Okay. I want to say happy birthday to you. Oh. Come on, you guys. Okay, let's do the regular one. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dad. Happy birthday to
you. More birthdays you have, the longer you live. And that's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
Through it, also, she's a legendary woman leader here, of course, in Atlanta. But I was with her at the varsity, just reminiscing on life and so forth. And she was coming up on a big birthday, and she wouldn't tell me what number it was. But she said this. She says, "As I get older, I'm getting bolder."
Yes.
So watch out.
Yes. All right, you guys. All right.
All right. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend. Take care.